Visitors Bureau Advisory Committee meeting. Today is Thursday, June 2nd at approximately 8:42 in the morning. So we begin with our Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone can
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now we have a moment of silence. Our prayers go to the Uvalde families who were impacted, as well as the Ukraine people as well. Okay. We follow now with our roll call. Raymond Camina, he is asking for an excused absence. He has a doctor's appointment today. So I guess we'll bring that up right after our roll call. Mr. Gabriel Castillo.
Here.
Elizabeth Flores.
Here.
Maribel Garcia. Judith Gutierrez.
Present.
Omar Minjas. Salo Otero.
Here.
Marisa Ramirez, present. Magali Rodriguez. So we have our one member, Raymond Camina, asking for excused absence. Do we have a motion to approve his
I move that
absence?
we excuse Raymond from this meeting.
Motion carries. Do we have any public or citizen comments to bring to our meeting today?
Not this morning, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the approval of the minutes for our May 5th, 2022 meeting, which is on page 2.
Madam Chair, I just have one comment. Mr. Vasquez was not here. So it's noted that city staff included Mr. Vasquez, but he was out traveling on business travel.
Okay.
Was that correction or?
He can buy the cake.
We're working on that, but we haven't figured it out.
There you go. Padre Fio.
There's a motion on the floor.
Do we have another?
I second.
Motion carries. The approval of the minutes and that one change for Joel Vasquez. Moving on to our the reviewing of our year-to-date financial statement, which is on page 4.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have, so this is where the changes to our report begin. So we are, as I mentioned last time during the meeting at the Water Museum, we're changing it to make it friendlier, to make it easier to consume, and for you all to be able to be aware of what we're doing in terms of projects, not tasks. So the first part is in our finance report. We're presenting the report as you had requested, the summarized report. And so this is on page 4. And then we have our hotel occupancy tax collections on page 5. There is a potential update to the number in April. It shows 653. Finance is checking if that is correct, because there is a refund to one of the properties that apparently overpaid taxes, and so we'll bring that updated number. It's not the full number. It would still leave us in a very good place for April, but we're just confirming if that's the correct number.
It's a lot.
We got really excited at the finance said, we were like, really? We've never seen that number. And then they burst our bubble. But
Is it going to be closer to the other ones, or is it going to stay?
it's going to be a little bit closer to the other ones, but it's still going to be higher than it's been in previous months. So
Somebody's not good at math. What was the mistake? Did they just over?
How do you?
apparently a property, I don't know which property, somebody overpaid some taxes. I don't know exactly.
It's a lot of money, 100,000 or two.
Somebody got fired and
Yeah, and this is, it's
Probably a
very
corporate
general
office
information, I don't have the detail of what property, or if it was more than one property.
Yeah, good.
It could have been more than one
Yeah, that
property,
happens, we always had adjustments.
Yeah. so,
Like this.
Madam Chair. And so, I don't know if you have any questions on our finance
No,
report?
very good.
Thank you.
No questions, thank you. We're moving on to the May 2022 report. We're going to do a little bit of a different process today.
Yes.
We begin on page 7 or page 6, I believe, right?
Yes, so as we mentioned again, this is gonna be our new report. We're putting the key objectives, just as a reminder of how we're doing it and where we're focusing on strategic plan. And so page 6, you will find our mission, our key objectives, and that's gonna drive the rest of the report. And so on page 7, what we did is we basically gave you a general report of all the different activities, projects that we've had throughout the month. This includes everybody, the whole team. And so we have from the attending of the sports symposium, Facebook Lives, Selena attended the Film Friendly Forum, and as you can see, every activity is related to a key objective. So you have a key objective of increasing visitor demand, and so Joel went to Sports CTA to bring more sports tournaments, which will increase our visitor demand. Selena went to Film Friendly because we want to become the destination leaders in terms of bringing productions to the community, and so on. So Sister Cities Festival is strengthening our visitor experience. So you'll see that the different activities are related to one of our key objectives. in
Where's
this
Parker, Texas?
Up by Plano and the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Yes.
I'm like,
It's far. But we were actually hosted on South Fork Ranch, which came out in the series Dallas.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. It was beautiful.
They host a lot of events. It's a venue
Yeah,
now.
it's
They
a
rent it for events. The South Fork Ranch.
Where is that?
It's
Parker, Texas.
Where?
Parker, Texas.
near Plano.
Outside.
Near Plano.
Yes, it's where the TV show Dallas was.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's a
Where it was,
Plano.
where it was filmed. Yeah.
It was
The show Dallas was filmed there.
So I don't know if you have any questions before we go to our presentation. I don't know if you have any questions on our first part of the report, which is our general report. The second part of the report is,
I'm gonna ask you, all
Yes.
these symposiums and events that you're, to bring in additional venues,
yes,
how do we know how do you quantify it? In other words, we already have what we have, so the idea is to increase that, right? So
yes.
how do we
get there?
So-
How do we
know?
measure? or-
And that's a great question. We have different types of events that we go, different types of conferences. So for example, we have we first of all measure if it's a good place to network. If we're gonna get to know people that are potentially gonna bring business to Laredo. Sometimes if we see it's only people from certain part of the country, we go the first time we scope, and if it's not something that we know we're gonna bring business from, we move on to a different one. When it's a sales event, we usually have one-on-ones with sports tournament directors or convention planners, and so we get to meet with them, show them Laredo, and if everything goes to plan, we get an RFP, which means we get a chance to bid for that conference. And those are the ones that we like. Those are the conferences that we like, where we come out with a bid, with an opportunity to bid on something, or where we see interest from the meeting planners in coming to Laredo and then obviously converting those into conventions or groups that are coming to our community board retreats, all that good stuff.
And I guess what Judy, comment that onto what she's saying, that's a very good point, because besides quantifying, how do you back it up with data? Like, we did so many, like in 2021, we had 10, we had 15 of this, we had 10 sports, we had do you have that report too?
Yes, we have how many conventions we have per year, and we can bring that to now in our new
I think that
format.
would be very good to
Yeah,
include.
Yeah.
because we want
To
to be
quantify
successful in our,
Yes.
going out and
Yeah.
trying to get new events to this community.
And I think what needs more attention, you like the good and you like the kudos for the good ones, but if an area needs more boost, or, I mean, like right now, I can tell you, I'm sure downtown needs a big boost, you know, as far as what and we do have things happening, that's the irony, is that we do have things happening, so it's important
Yes.
to boost that area, because probably your reports will also show that downtown is probably not getting the tourist attraction that it should, because there's just very little happening there. You know, whereas before, when there was
Yeah.
the Tamboozy, there was other things, that was a good thing. So I do agree with that. And you know, the other thing I was gonna say, now that you mentioned that, I noticed that there's a lot of empty spaces, ad spaces at the airport on their screens. And I know they're in the airport with Charter Media. But do you all get anything like, as a caveat to your contract? Like, is there anything that CBP gets in there?
No, we
had
pay
asked
for
if
the ads.
Yeah, no, it is through HR, and we asked, airport, you know, if they had like any complimentary spaces or anything like that, but it's all sold, contracted.
All of it?
Okay, it's not all sold. It's
No, not all sold, but they contract in order to post.
So who does the airport belong to?
The city, but the advertising is a Charter Media.
Well,
So
but
it's,
the city, okay, there's a little loophole there, because the city can promote the city and the nonprofit side of the city, you know, as far as all of these things that are happening. To me, there should be a giant screen that shows sister cities coming soon, blah, blah, blah. You know, downtown museum, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's at this location, you know, with this phone number, you know, whatever is coming up. You know, there's so many things that are those sports stadium, blah, 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 big game coming, you know, next month. That's the way people think about coming back, or even make plans to come back when they maybe were not coming back. You know, because they see those screens up there with promotion of, and all that is nonprofit stuff. I mean, you can do just nonprofit. I think even at Charter Media would probably give you
Yeah. We already put up the sister city information, no?
and we have it in different
Because
places
My
already at the
husband, who I
arena.
tell nothing about, he says, oh, I saw sister cities are
Yeah.
coming.
Yes, we're already promoting, but we'll talk on that
And
point.
he just goes to the ranch and back, so he saw it somewhere.
We'll talk to the airport and see what can be done
I think
through
we're
the airport.
putting
If they
it
have
up-
any
we were putting it up on our
promo
bank-
spaces.
We were putting it up on our bank electronic board
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if it's up already, honestly. I don't
No,
know.
not yet. But
Okay.
yeah, we got you.
Yeah. We'll talk to the airport and
Well,
report
because I
back.
just really think that's a big potential. I mean, I just, at the times, unfortunately, I've had to travel twice, and I notice a lot of people waiting around, you know, so then that's what you have to look at, and there's
Yeah.
nothing going on. So I think right there in the waiting area,
Staring at
where you're
this
staring
screen.
at a wall,
Never even-
they're staring at a wall about information. I think that would be very important, especially if it's looping,
Mhm.
you know, I mean, these things cost, what, $1,000 to put one of these up and add a computer to it and put it, we're doing that with the Center for the Arts. We had some old screens that we took down, they were still working order, so, we donated them to the center, and they're connecting with upcoming events, and they're facing them to the window. Hopefully they won't get broken, but they're facing them outside, so, I know. And like that, people can, even if we're not open, they can see what our hours are, they can see what's coming
Yeah.
up, they can see what's going on, but there's a screen facing the outside.
Yeah.
So I just think it might be.
Yes, no, for sure, we'll talk to the airport. And, on what you were talking, before,
The reports.
the reports, we are working on a contract with, a company that will be able to provide reports. They're not, you can see, it's really interesting. It's now new data analytics and new, technology, but they can show you, for example, hopefully we'll have it for sister cities. We're really pushing for that. But if we can have it, it will show, for example, we're gonna have Pony and Sister Cities. it will show if locals are going to one or the other, visitors, where are they coming, how are they coming into the city, and how are they moving around the city. At the end of the day, if they're going to hotels, if they're going to residential areas, that means that we have Airbnbs that we don't know about. So it gives you a lot of information, and so it provides for specific times of specific events, additional information on if we're really getting those visitors, if they're coming downtown, for example. Good morning, hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
If they're coming to downtown, how are they moving in downtown? So all that information we're gonna have hopefully very soon. And we'll be able to provide those reports here.
And what will you do with that information? I mean, once you get it, okay, so now you know more people are going to the mall than they are to the downtown. What do you do with that information? I mean, what's the strategy for that?
Yes.
Utilizing that?
What do you use it for, right?
There's two different things that we're planning to do with that information. For example, there's a lot of events that tell us, no, my event brings a lot of people from out of town. And there we can see if they're really coming. We can project if there's areas of the community that need more attention. We can provide that, share that information with management. We can share that information with the different venues. And so we know that at a certain point for this event, that venue is gonna get more people. Or if we get, for example, Pony, if we know how they're moving around the city, we can share that information with the different venues, with the different restaurants, hotels. If we know that they're going to the residential areas, we can make a case for getting more information about or changing the rules that we have right now for Airbnbs in the community. So there's a lot of potential for that information to give us better insight into what's happening. Also, a lot of people tell us there's no tourists in Laredo. Nobody's coming to Laredo. And so we have data that shows that they're coming, but it's different to see a little dot that's a different color than the dot that's the local, seeing them move in and be here in the community and then go back home. So it's a very different, then the other thing that we're gonna be able to see is if they're coming from Mexico, if they're staying here for a night, or they're just going through. If they're going through, where are they going? Are they going to San Antonio? Are they going to the Valley? So we'll be able to see that progression of how our visitor is moving, so we can increase our efforts. If we see that a lot of people are moving from Monterrey, but they're just passing through, well, we need to increase that. If we see they're staying, well, we need to make sure that our strategy is according.
At what point are you collecting personal data on that?
We're not collecting
At all.
personal data, no.
Okay. Let me tell you what I'm getting at. When we've been doing sister cities,
Mhm.
we also had to justify why we wanted to do platinum, why we want to spend so much money
Yeah.
on it. We did collect data.
Mhm.
We did collect emails. And that was very important because they were local, they were both your vendors and your participants that we collected
Yes.
from. We ended up with a list of about 40,000,
Mhm.
and that's what we use for our email. That's our newsletter that goes out to Mexico and throughout.
Yes.
And that's a separate email where we do basically promote our products and services.
Mhm.
And it's, our engagement has been pretty good, and so has our return on investment on that
Mhm.
end. So that's where I was going with that, was because besides, all this high level, back and forth, it's really down to the nitty gritty of who are you actually touching.
Mhm.
And really touching someone means contacting them and getting them to contact you, in
How-
return.
How are they gonna be getting this information that they're coming from here, they're coming from there, they're gonna go back, they're gonna stay,
There's-
like, how are y'all gonna gather that?
So the company that we're contracting with, they gather information. There's already companies that provide certain pieces of the information.
So they
And
get
so
that information
they get
from that.
information from all of them and put it together into a dashboard.
And how quick is the turnaround, like, they're gathering the information, how quick will you get the information on sister cities?
About a week after the event.
Okay. Because that'll help you start promoting, already planning, this is what we need to do to capture. from this.
Exactly.
Exactly, yeah.
And we do capture some information at Sister Cities too, because we actually put on the paper and different advertising.
For out-of-town
venues.
placements, those specifically do have a clause that says bring this with you for a complimentary souvenir. And we added a little code so that we know whether they saw it in Southern Living or in San Antonio Monthly or Texas Monthly. And there, you know, they do get their souvenir, but it's like, would you like to be added to our newsletter? Would you like, you know, more information on Laredo? So we keep track of how those, you know, traditional media placements, you know, end up, you know, giving back to us. And we have seen a lot of, you know, the ones that are more popular are San Antonio, the San Antonio Express, and I want to say it was Texas Monthly. And there was some papers in the RGV area. So this year we will be including Corpus and hitting more North Texas. And of course, like, we still stayed with electronic blasts, you know, because we send out through our email database, but we also sign up through those other media avenues and use their databases as well to get, you know, try to get new faces, new people to come in and get more exposure.
I just want to make note that we have one of our members that joined us, is Magali Rodriguez. Thank you, Magali.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so, are we gonna do the National Travel and Tourism Week, which is on page 10? Or-
Yes, if you go to page 10, we have our National Travel and Tourism Week report. As you're familiar already, we did, this week has the objective of basically thanking all of our hospitality and tourism industry locally, and just highlighting to the public what we do, what they do, just to show to everybody the impact that tourism has in our community. And so we had different activities, including proclamation, the special familiarization tour, our Partners Appreciation Night, an advisory committee meeting that you all attended, and the event of the gift shop. And so this was a week where we highlighted what our industry does. We had a lot of media presence, and so we were able to share exactly that. Our thanks to everything that the hospitality industry, including our.
I wanted to ask them that are in the hospitality business, how do you all feel about the support you get from CVB?
Be honest.
Yeah. I mean, how do you
I
feel?
personally don't meet too much with Joel, but I know Joel is often at the hotel. He goes physically to go, they either inspect the rooms to show a room or to see what is gonna be available for a group. I don't hear that we don't have the support. I do believe we do have the support. It helps me being as part of this member within this committee, just to see how things are moving around throughout the entire community, throughout Laredo and outside of Laredo. So I truly believe that we are very well attended to and included into events or whatever is upcoming. I do feel that as far as La Posada.
As far as us, our group, right, it's 3 hotels in town. We do feel that we have the support from them. Anytime we try to reach out to them, they make themselves available. I recognize the hard work that they have to do to bring those conferences and groups to Laredo. I do see the challenge because we do hear the perception of a lot of people about Laredo and thinking that how is this gonna be this destination, and I do recognize and admire, the hard work that is put into bringing those groups. Do we get the benefit from those groups all the time? No, because of the type of hotel or that we run. But I personally reach out to a lot of them many times, and I have not once received,
Well, what do you mean
or
by
not
type of
received.
hotel?
Well, because we don't, when Joel is able, or
Full
the
service
group,
property.
yes, it's rare that we are able to be a host hotel because of the nature of our hotel. We don't have a full service, we don't have big meeting rooms. So those go usually to La Posada or Embassy.
But like on the
And-
sports side,
On the sports
all the
side,
teams and all
yes.
that, you would have-
Yes, I feel that it's fair. A lot of times, the organizers pick the specific areas and they have specific needs, and at points I have asked them why we don't know about these conferences or why we're not included in these, but I have learned, to know and understand that sometimes it's the organizers that have specific needs. So I appreciate that we're not wasting our time putting in bids for something that we have no chance, But I think that like in that situation, it was probably years ago that I reached out. I don't remember if it was to Eileen or to Joel and asked why, and then they explained to me. And at the same time, now I am able to see when only our area has been requested, which is the airport area, and I see that difference. So overall, I think I love having the open communication. Sometimes it makes me sad not to see more involvement from other hotels. I feel like we have a great team here backing us up, and I think you utilize as much as you want and you can. And I think in our case, we utilize as much as we can, that their support and their advice, and I think we're lucky to have this team working in our
Well,
city.
you bring up a good point, Betty, because I don't know if you all do this or not, but do you all survey your hotels to see what they're thinking, what they're doing? Is there any type of survey that you all do with them right now?
Not a survey. We try to talk to the hotels and
Okay.
see what they're doing.
Well, just,
We call them to,
Yes.
like, for example, Nora just did because there were a lot of changes during the pandemic.
yeah.
So we called every hotel, Nora called every hotel and said, well, were there any
Yes.
changes? Are you doing anything different? Who's your general manager? Because that could have changed. Who's your owner? Because that could have changed. Who's your
And that's
sales
my
person?
point, because I think that, this conversation brings up an interesting effect, and you just mentioned it. Post-pandemic, we had to do a survey of our customers, and then even internally of our employees, and you find out that their culture has changed dramatically. Their
Yes.
needs have changed dramatically. So now, the customer doesn't care about blah, blah, blah in person. They want to know what's available online now. How easy is it to do this, and that online? So we have, from a marketing standpoint, we've had to shift. We cared a lot about advertising in the newspaper, we cared a lot about magazine. Well, that doesn't matter now. It matters that we keep them in touch on social media, that we keep them in touch on social channels, anything, and then we keep them in touch on our website. It has to be very, very functional now, because they're utilizing that for a lot of stuff. So I guess that's where I'm going, because maybe it is time for you all to do some sort of outreach to these people that really support the tourism, to see what are their needs now, because maybe things have changed. Maybe now they're serving, like right now, I see a lot of hotels servicing military people and that type of thing. So maybe that shifts their need there too, because they're no longer looking at tourism, but who is. So maybe you shift that to whoever is handling more tourism than, these issues with government. Some people do not accept government contracts. So, those are the little things that matter, and it could probably make a difference to a hotel.
And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, that we haven't received a survey like that, but we do receive a lot of calls from different members, and they personally ask us questions, or even if you haven't submitted a bid, usually they will be like, oh, they're not interested. No, they make sure that we have that opportunity. They're reaching out to us. They let us know ahead of time. If there's a possibility that, okay, you have a good chance, this is an opportunity for you, where are you standing? We just had a conversation, Joel and myself, last week. He reached out to me, it was, that communication is always open, and I appreciate that. And I think that, I don't know if this is the reason why you guys have done it this way, but I guess it works better, because in the past, we have tried to put meetings of hoteliers and get together, and we have no attendance.
Yeah.
It's always the same people
Handful of people,
participating. So because it happened to me personally, because I tried to keep those meetings going, I had to be reaching out personally and understanding why they were not attending and what. So I'm assuming that's why you have taken that more personal approach, because maybe that's a better response. And but it's a good idea to always have that open channel.
And that culture has changed too.
Yes.
Because people are low in staff, so they can't leave. Like right now, I left, and it's like, I'm getting like, even after email, what about this, what about that, because we're short of
Yes,
staff.
yeah.
So now you leave, but you have to get back,
Yes.
and I'm sure that happens to you too, in your
Yes.
place, you have to be there.
Yes.
Because you have to do crisis management
Yes.
yourself
Yeah.
with a lot of things, so that's why, to me, that outreach, that same thing with our customers were not coming out anymore because they have their same issues, so they depend on, that's why we go back to the online, they depend to make their life easier, to make it more
It's
convenient,
faster that way.
faster.
It's just faster.
And reservations,
Yeah.
something as simple as reservations, I tried doing that the other day, because I had to go to a funeral, and I literally had to get off on one of them. I was trying to get to Dallas, but it was taking forever, and they're like, what about this, what about, it was not an easy to navigate page.
Yeah.
And then there's some that are super easy. There's one, blah, 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 one night, the two, and you want that, here's a discount, here's a whatever, the credit card, and yeah. But some are not. So those are things that you all need to know too, on that end. What's working and what's not.
It's true. Look at the airline industry. It is things.
Oh, airline, don't even get me started.
They're short.
I was gonna take the bus, I need to just go in the bus, because this is ridiculous, I didn't get what I,
You'll never
And then the boat breaks down.
and the bus is kinda nice, I've taken it.
I mean, you can read, and you can sleep, you can.
Well,
That's what I look for
I don't
the
want to go
trainers.
back, but I just wanted to say, because I didn't, that the key objective, adding the key objective to everything, it's wonderful. It's good that we have that.
That's the idea, that we can, link whatever we're doing,
Yeah.
has to be linked to one of our key
That's
objectives.
great.
They keep reminding you what is your objective, and that's, you keep focused, and stays are focused.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it could be lost.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
You
that
know, we
goes,
get so distracted by things that.
And about Casa Laredo in particular, since I see here, maybe you already talked about them, but talking about reaching out, Casa Laredo, when they're here in town, they do a tour, they go to different hotels, they go and make sure that they get to know,
Yeah,
so,
they told
because
me.
they're not very, well known, because of course they're not office here in Laredo,
Yeah.
but I know for a fact that they go and visit hotels. Every time they're here, they go and make a little tour, they pick, and they stay at different hotels as well, so they can have the experience of different hotels. So, the effort is there,
That's good.
but again, it's about how much you wanna take advantage of the tools you have.
Individual
Their
part too,
guide?
it's not just.
Yes, we have their guide, we
Yeah.
have their maps, and, we've been referring a lot of people to the store,
The
we
gift shop
had.
here, I've been
yes.
referring people to the gift shop, because I've
Yes.
been back for gift shop.
We had them at our door in our
Okay.
different areas, then corporate arrive and then say, you cannot have these things here, but we
Every
found
time.
another. Yeah, because we had it everywhere, but, yes, yes, but we still. Since most of my staff is new, since it's new hotel, right? I want to make sure they come to destination training. Hopefully, destination training goes back in full force. I feel that's a great tool for our hospitality industry. So hopefully,
You have to know what to offer, when the
Yes.
guest comes in.
yes. And
Because
these are
everybody
very young members of our team, right? Like some of them. They're early 19, 20 years old, and you want to make sure that they get that information, because a lot of them have never heard about.
Yeah.
Yes.
and talking
places,
about
yes.
what, Mr. Garcia was saying regarding, new tools.
Mm-hmm.
We are also launching, hopefully by the fall, in the fall, we're gonna launch destination training online. So if you have a small staff and you can't spare somebody
Yes.
the whole day, well, they can do maybe half an hour of destination training a day
Okay.
and
Yeah.
get that information about the different activities.
We
and the
can make it
different-
part of our onboarding training,
Yeah.
So
That would be
it's
good.
great, yeah.
We're gonna offer that, we're working with Madison Agency, out of here of Laredo, and they're helping us, do all the videos and, editing, and I already saw the first one, and it looks really good, so we're excited about that.
Why are you short on staff? People don't,
We raised salaries, we did everything.
It's hard.
It's just people,
Well,
there's no
It's all over.
Yeah, it's all
There's no
over.
people. And you know, Dennis brought up something that a long time ago that we thought, whatever, you know, because he was saying that the fertility rate has gone down too. He said
Yes.
that's gonna affect us in the future with our workforce, and it is true, it is happening. People are not, and they did a study in Mexico. In Mexico, women are not having children, they're focused more on career, there's more career opportunities, there's more university and educational opportunities, that they're not getting married. People are not getting married, people are not having children. So therefore, there's no return on that, you know, that's why the immigration issue is so important, because we do need that workforce. And that's why we need to work towards it and get them, you know, get them legally, you know, migrated, because that's so important to
At least 3 of us didn't, didn't.
We have fur babies.
You know, Henry Fernandez's son from Asash that has Laredo Pest Control,
Oh,
he was
yes.
telling me the other day, he needs 8 people. He's short 8 people.
South Texas Neon, the guys who do all the stuff.
Sign.
Our electronic board is half and half. It's a He said, I don't have people. I'm sorry. He said, we have billboards. I have to go up. They're going to put up the billboard. He said, you're going to have to wait another 2 weeks. I'm hoping that they come back. He said, we're getting people from out of town to come and work for the day.
It used to be, let me tell you, that the summer came around, and there were not enough
Jobs
jobs,
for
you know, for the
people.
kids. And now it seems like, you know, what has
Not enough kids
happened?
I know when it's coming from, like high schoolers. I mean, everybody, we used to have high schoolers that kind of put summer job.
Yeah.
Not anymore. They'd rather be in the phones.
Because they don't want to judge
TikTok
people.
videos.
You're not working, is
And
it?
this is an office, you know,
No,
we
I
could use
just
it.
saw an article in the paper saying that Laredo, one of the worst places to have a summer job. To get a summer job. Yes.
That doesn't help to me.
No,
Yeah.
Why would that be?
I don't know. I wish
But
that I had at least applicants, at least for
the
us.
same Honda said the
To
same
say
thing.
yes, no?
We don't have-
My God.
So what happened to the people? I mean, there were people there before the pandemic. The pandemic came, and then what did happen to the people?
Yeah, that's an interesting cultural phenomenon, that people made adjustments. And those adjustments meant moving back home, basically consolidating, you know, families, and that's really what happened. You know, we saw that a lot.
Are you sure about that?
Trust me, I could not believe how many people are willing to bring in back their kids, my mother moved in with me, you know, she was living alone. We have a lot of that. These are the things that we survey, like I said, we go back to surveying our employees, what's going on.
So they don't need to work, is that what you're saying?
Basically, they've made adjustments, so, and you know, but let me tell you, on the other side, the problem also was that, and this is gonna get worse, the problem also was that childcare became very expensive.
Oh, that's the
So then
thing.
they say, I'm gonna stay home, I'm gonna make ends meet, and I'm gonna stay home and take care of my
So the
kids.
advantage of that living here, we used to get a lot of work.
Exactly, it's
And now
a
they're
vicious
working-
cycle.
It's a
It's a
cycle.
That's
vicious
the
cycle.
thing, that the people were
Women
not
find out that
coming
it's
from
cheaper
North
to stay
Laredo. I mean, that
The pandemic just.
that in itself. And now that they're starting to come because they can cross, they get all kinds of investigations. You can watch. And are you that? I mean,
They're afraid now.
yes, they don't understand at the bridge that these people need the job. They come and buy here. Yes, they come to work, but they're just day workers. You know, it's just.
I mean, we are one community in the way I see it, you know, so what? They don't pay.
That's hurting us a lot. There are no housekeepers.
And
And
housekeeper that I
childcare.
had, well, first of all, passed away of COVID, so I had to write her off way back last year. And so,
Right, you're all.
I mean, I couldn't count on her coming back. I mean, you cry and you do everything, but, you know, it's like, too bad. You know, there's another lady that also, you know, but she had to go back to renew her visa. Do you know how long it's taken her? More than
A year
Yeah.
or more.
Yeah.
Todavía está esperando.
My mom went to my graduation because they gave her the visa for a year. Like,
That's ridiculous. I mean, all of that is
I mean, I think
ridiculous.
that is, you know, and people don't understand border issues, that's what, you
We
know.
need a border governor.
We need, yeah, we need
Another
some.
thing is, it's a lot of online jobs, I think, open up, or a lot of people find out about other jobs that they can find from companies, not necessarily local companies. I have an employee that left me because they went to work for Wayfair. You know, those things that we
Wayfair.
probably don't even know that this is going on.
a little
But-
remote opportunities.
Yes, a lot of
Yeah.
remote opportunities, and for the young ones,
That's all.
Yes.
you know, for at least for the staff that I'm looking for, which is front desk agents, housekeepers, they're trying to find whomever can pay them more. You have McDonald's paying $14 an hour, and you have a housekeeper job paying you 12. What are you gonna
Yeah,
choose?
Target paying 15.
Target, Walmart paying. So all of those things is adjustments that are happening, and that I don't know.
The other thing is like they're saying that people wanna have their hours, like,
Yes.
Yes.
I wanna be able to work my hours and not
Yes.
the hours that the employer's telling me I need
Yes.
to work.
Yes.
So then as employers, we have to start
Adjust,
shifting.
start shifting. Yes.
Where we're gonna have all that flexibility.
Yes.
Where you ask them, okay, when do you wanna work? You know, it's like, it
Yes.
kinda seems that way.
Yes, and it's I guess it's a benefit at the end of the day for the workforce because of salaries are going up and all of that, but it makes everything harder for the business.
And I know that my son works for the state in Austin, and he used to go to work every day to an office in Austin. And when the pandemic came in, told him that they could work from home, and now they continue to work from home.
Yes,
Well, let me tell you what happens there, and that's another issue that you were
Their
saying, why are they
buildings are
not coming to
vacant.
work? Well, now you can work from your home anywhere. So he could move back to Laredo
Yeah.
and work,
Yeah.
live in
Still have
Butte
his
and work
job.
from home from there.
Yeah.
And save
Yeah.
himself probably $1,200, whatever, on utilities and everything. And a lot of people did that. We had people that we know that said, I'm just gonna move back home because I can work remotely and I can go there with my parents and I can go
Help them
back to
out,
where I
and they
work.
can help me. I mean,
states like New York said, you know what, yes, but you cannot move, like they made it hard for people to move out of state.
Yeah,
Because that was happening.
I think they were
Yes.
locking in a radius,
Yes.
Yeah.
like you had to be
Yes.
within a certain.
Yes, because that was happening a
It's
lot.
true, and I have two nieces that work in New York,
Yeah.
and I mean, it's the way it is. I mean,
Yeah.
they both have jobs.
Yes,
Back to convention and visitors.
yes.
Oh, back to our regularly scheduled program.
You know, this is good information because
Yes.
this is our way of being able to help employers as well as, you know,
Yes.
being able to give the
And then-
service to the, guests that
Yeah,
are coming into Laredo.
We can't be blind
And
to
I'm
this.
so glad that we're able to, have first, have experience, from hearing from the
Right.
people that work at the hotels, what's going on there. I mean, you have your.
And considering it's gonna be challenging, weekends like the ones for Sister City and Pony is gonna be challenging since there's not enough staff
Yeah.
in the restaurants and the hotels and all the venues that they're gonna visit, so.
They should be hiring
That's-
retired people because I think a lot of them have, a lot of us have the ability, I mean, you have the time. I mean, you've already gone through the workforce. I mean, you don't have to work, but you wanna work.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of those, you're gonna have to hire some retired.
Mhm.
The pony, I went to several pony games, and all of the parents, well, not all of the parents, but most of the parents, when they found out I was local, they were asking me where the McDonald's were.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's where they take their kids, it's the cheapest place.
Yeah.
You can get like those $20 bundles and
Yes.
then feed the team, here
Yeah.
you go, here you go.
Yeah,
100
they
pieces
pull their
of
money,
nuggets.
Yeah.
5 burgers.
So McDonald's is gonna make a killing.
Well, McDonald's is always making.
So
That's true.
they were able to remain closed, their
I know.
restaurant.
They're dining.
Yes, but I think they open, right? They finally open.
Yes,
Yes, they finally open.
Some are.
They did?
I think
Some are,
not all
yes,
of
they're
them.
finally.
Not the one where the
They're
back-
having the same problem everybody.
It's like a medium
It's so
Yes,
size.
that was the problem. That was the problem. I personally asked that question and I said, why are you still closed?
What a burger.
The reason was the staffing issues. It was, if we open, we're not gonna be able to
They need more
Do the
people.
service.
yes, to service
There's just
everybody.
certain restaurants and stuff that have all the business by the bolillos. And they're always packed.
One thing that is also changing is like, for example, hotel industry. If we wanna focus on the church or staff and on the hotel industry, the hotel industry is recognizing these problems and these issues are happening, not only in Laredo, that's happening everywhere in the country. So they're also changing a lot of the way we normally operate. For example, housekeeping is no longer required to offer it every day.
Yeah.
And all of those things are helping us. So,
That's
but be
very
prepared.
bad, you know, but like,
Yes,
you know,
well, you can, most brands, you can still request it, but.
But you have to
don't-
request it.
Yes, you don't expect it to have it.
I mean,
without
you leave the
request.
room, you come back and the room is still not
Yes.
done, and it's like, what happened? I mean, you
Yes.
just take that for
Yes.
granted.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, but that's changing,
That's the
so
way that's the way it is.
to adjust to the new reality.
And then it has that doesn't normal.
All of that is very good information, and thank everybody for everybody's ideas. Moving on to the digital marketing.
Well, no, it's
Semana Santa.
the Semana Santa. So this is our
Page
highlight.
13.
Today was a little bit longer because we kind of explained everything that it's in the report. In future reports, what we're gonna do is we're gonna present the report, but we're gonna focus on one project or one item that we really want to highlight. And so in this case, a lot of you had asked about Semana Santa, what did we do, how did we promote, and so this is the full Semana Santa report. So we did, the advertising was from March 21st to April 23rd, so it was 5 weeks. And what you see in the report from page 13 through
Definitely.
19 is, it's a piece of this. So this is the full-on presentation. What we put is a summary. If any of you wants the full presentation, we'll be happy to provide it. So these are the different media outlets where we advertised. And it was 5 weeks, from March 21st to April 23rd.
And when you say advertise, what do you mean?
We had ads there, we had
Ads, yeah.
activations, and you'll see a little bit more of what we did. So these are the locations that we chose with the agency. We had the cities that were more than 400,000 population within Mexico's northeast area. You see them here. Cities with more than 1 million population in the Mexico Nuevo Laredo highway zone, which is this one, and Mexico City and the surrounding areas. So, which is this area. Yeah, so we had Nuevo Laredo, Monterrey, Monclova, Saltillo, Torreón, Piedras Negras, San Luis Potosí, Querétaro, Puebla, Pachuca, y Tlaxcala, as well as Mexico City.
So when you say targets, you mean, did you, what, geofence them, or did you just target advertising in certain?
We
Media?
had a lot of stuff.
A lot? Okay, you're still gonna talk more.
Yes. So our target audience,
Okay.
So our target audience is Mexicans between 25 and 45. I appreciate the young Mexicans, but they say 25 to 45. Mexicans with annual income above $22,000. Families or single people who want to recover their time after the pandemic. What we here in the U.S. call revenge traveling. People willing to travel abroad during vacation season. People with mobile devices that have at least 3 electronic screens. Families with children that have not received the COVID-19 vaccines. Remember that COVID-19 vaccines for kids were not available in Mexico. People who are already vaccinated with the approved vaccines, this is for adults. And people who are willing to go out and distract themselves in a safe, near, and reliable location.
You
So-
know, what we found in our report was that people 55 and over have the most money.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And so this is what, part of what, this is the digital placement. So we had Google Search, Google Display Network, YouTube, Visit Laredo, Google Campaign Ads, Facebook Ads, and you see how many impressions we had, how many clicks.
Wow.
And so
Google.
this is just with Google. And so Visit Laredo app, also, we were sending people to our app, to our website, and we did see, I get the reports of the downloads of the app, and you usually have 6 or 10 on a regular time. And all of a sudden, I start getting 120 people downloaded the app, and 300 people downloaded the app. And I was like, I told Ryan, I said, what's going on?
Yeah.
She's like, it's our promotion, it's our Google promotion. So our KPI was downloads. You can see here, real travel for Nuevo Laredo, Coahuila. And then we had, we divided. So our KPI for the northern part was our app download. And then for Mexico City and Central Mexico, it was clicks to the IDOMAP landing page. Because what we wanted is for people to already understand that they want to come here, they need to buy their ticket now. So that was the connection between the two. Here we have our digital placements. We have Reforma.com, which is one of the largest newspapers in Central Mexico. El País, which is a newspaper that comes from Europe that's becoming very, very popular in Mexico City. Transportes y Turismo, T21, which is more on the logistics side, because we understand that a lot of people that come are involved with logistics. Even if they're coming for business, they want to add that leisure part. Quien is a magazine that since the beginning, we started working with them 10 plus years ago. It's been a hit, and it's a lifestyle magazine, and it just, I mean, you see the reach, 202,000 people. Publimetro, this is a newspaper that's like a daily newspaper. It's like the USA Today you get in the hotels. That's what Publimetro is, and then IDOMAP on Facebook, we collaborated with them in promotions. These are some examples of our printed issues. We launched our new campaign for Semana Santa, Live Laredo, and these are some examples of what we had in Monterrey. TV Notas, which is a national magazine. Quien, this is the ad that we had. El Efecto Mariana, this is Mariana, she's the First Lady of Nuevo León. She's
Very attractive lady.
yes. And this is the activation. So we had, every time we have this type of campaign, we have some sort of activation. In this case, Mexico is still very sensitive to the pandemic, and so we didn't want anything that had to do with having people in front of other people. So this is a very hands-off, well, not face-to-face activation. And let me show you. Let me play the video. We don't have sound.
We also, I sent Aileen a copy of a ad that came out. It says, your destination for free information, savings, and shopping. And it's from the AARP magazine, and it says, visit Laredo, with over 40 hotel properties, family themed activities, and a variety of restaurants. Laredo is a destination friendly, you can see it, for your budget. And it says visit Laredo.com.
Wow.
Yes, that's part of our US. Yes.
AARP magazine.
Yeah, that's part of our US.
And we're the only city listed here.
Wow, that's interesting.
WRP?
We are,
The one that
No, we're not a member.
Enfocados en conectar de una manera dinámica y directa la visita obligada a Laredo en Semana Santa, donde nos dimos a la tarea de producir parasoles para los autos, los cuales fueron distribuidos en las ciudades de Monterrey, principalmente en los sectores de Cumbres, San Nicolás y Contra, asimismo en la ciudad de Saltillo, en los sectores de Bombillas, San Agustín, Doctores y Campestre. Dentro de nuestra estrategia, buscamos implementar el efecto sorpresa, ya que los parasoles eran colocados en los limpiabrisas de cada auto sin que las personas se dieran cuenta, con la finalidad de que forzosamente nos vieran una vez que llegaran nuevamente a su auto. Es así como en el 2022 estaremos renovando nuestro plan integral de comunicación con estrategias que nos generen más impactos visuales, dejándole claro a nuestros amigos regiomontanos que nos vemos en Laredo, Texas.
Very nice.
Where does this come out?
This is just for this
That's just for the
presentation.
report.
This is for our report.
Oh,
This is
that's
for
really
you.
proud, I thought you were saying that. Because it's not ADA compliant for those of us that can't hear, I want us to read it. I couldn't do somewhere because.
Want it louder?
No, because the music is louder.
Yeah.
I was like, look, I'm trying to say, it. Okay,
This is just for the report.
I know, now I know.
It's great.
Now I watch with,
Maybe you'll regret it.
I can't hear, I swear, it's terrible. Really, there's music and audio,
Yeah.
No.
No, he was speaking really fast.
so it was good.
They were very good.
You like the pictures?
This is yes.
So this was the activation. This was in Monterrey, and we know
What
that.
was it about the screens?
So the sunshades, we
Uh-huh.
provided, yeah, Monterrey Santiago. So we provided the sunshades. We usually do some sort of activity with people, but and we've done several different, every year we do something different for Black Friday and one for Semana Santa. This time, again, because people in Mexico are still very sensitive to COVID.
To still keep with the social distancing.
Exactly.
It was more of an activity to, we'll go ahead and place them on their vehicles, and that's
Yes.
when they see it, they can utilize it.
Took
Because
it
before,
over.
we would go like on weekends and to like, the city parks.
Yeah.
And it would be like, you could play interactive games, and it was all about Laredo and having a screen and, learning about, but
Printing your map
Uh-huh.
and doing things. And this gives people the opportunity to talk about it. It's something that you're gonna put in your car. Everybody, Monterrey and Saltillo are as hot as Laredo. And so we know that we love those things.
Yeah.
And so that is something that they're gonna have on their vehicle, and they're gonna, it's free, free-ish publicity for us for at least a few months. For the summer.
And has highlights,
Really
a lot of
look
stuff
at
from the
those.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was
Sometimes
kind
they
of
go,
cool.
where did you get it? I want one.
We also have billboards around Monterrey, the Monterrey area. You can see we have both the electronic, but we also have the full electronic. These are very popular in Monterrey, where it's the length of the whole avenue.
Wow.
These are in Mexico City. This is Periférico, no sé qué es. López Mateos. Sí. This is the second level of the Circuito Interior. I can attest that there's a lot of traffic here.
Yeah.
You get people looking at your ad for a long
Are
time.
those electronic boards?
These are electronic, yes.
So if we go back to the budget, we see the result
Of
all of that.
Of all the Semana Santa, yes. Yes. These are also outdoor promotion in Mexico City. A lot of people in Mexico walk around, they take the public transportation, they're on the street, and so we have these, they're also very popular. Here are some of the locations, and you can see they're in the main avenues and the main areas, so.
Perfect.
And this is pointing to, the campaign in Mexico City was Descubre la Magia. The campaign in Monterrey and Coahuila was
Look
Live
at the
Laredo.
smalls.
That's small.
Small.
They're actually big, but in the picture they look small, but there, you can see the size of the pole.
Oh,
the person.
there.
Yeah, the person's there.
Person for reference,
So they're about 10 feet by,
yeah. And these are usually little magazine stands.
Yeah.
So they're usually magazine stands or little shops, and so you have your advertising in the back.
So what does a billboard like that cost the city, like more or less?
What was the break? ¿Cómo cuánto cuesta?
I don't know, because we have the bundle.
Oh,
We have the
okay.
bundle with the cars and the housing company.
Carl,
Carl's gonna forget it.
Yeah. So, see, we also have these. So these are on the main.
Is that their reason why you chose that and not something else, you know, because,
Yes.
I mean, are you targeting certain
Yes.
population or?
Yes.
What is
So
it?
this is
Oh,
targeting.
yeah, we just saw the population, they were
So
targeting.
in the population at the beginning.
I know, but is there like a Mexico City, I mean?
Yes.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Mexico
Because of the
City.
flight, right?
Because of the flight. So the reason why we chose, and I'll go back to this one. So in the map, it shows why we chose several locations. So the first one, which is a natural one, is northeast Mexico, right? The Monterrey, the Saltillo, the Tamaulipas. That's our natural drive-in market. Then we have the highway from Mexico City to Laredo, which we know because we've surveyed our visitors in the past. We know that Semana Santa, it's prime time for people from further away, aka Mexico City, to come to Laredo. So we targeted all the towns on the highway. All the cities that we know, larger cities, are on the highway. The Querétaros, the Tlaxcalas of Mexico.
Puebla.
Puebla está al sur. Pero for Puebla, for Mexico City, for Estado de Mexico, we targeted with this campaign, which is the go and get your flight through Aeromar and fly to Laredo. And so we're linking that.
That's what you're.
And Mexico City, yeah, that's the reason why we're doing all this in Mexico City, because we wanted to increase the flight usage.
I
How
mean,
how are they doing? I'm sorry, you asked the question.
It's we have better numbers from Mexico City to Laredo than Laredo to Mexico City.
Wow, really?
Yes.
Yeah, because there's,
that's what I was gonna mention, that I tried to book a flight. The site is kind of hard to navigate, and it's
Yes.
the fact that there's no flights every day, right? Like it just tells you no, like it doesn't pop up the day that you can fly and that there's a flight available. It's kind of hard to.
You can't
We,
plan
we,
it dynamically.
yes, no, we hear you and we've conveyed,
Yeah.
we have a meeting every month with Aeromar.
Yes.
The airport has been really good about including us in those conversations.
Good.
We have a meeting with their operations team, plus Reina has a meeting every month with their marketing team, just marketing. And so we've conveyed that information. They say they're trying to make changes
Because
to,
that's the
to their
website,
system.
that's the system from this
it's called Amadeus.
Amadeus,
Oh.
and that's for the
Yes.
airplanes, and that's very difficult,
Yes.
and they say, and especially with this promotion, that you
Yeah.
have you need to enter the code, and then you need to go to Empresa, and that, you
It's
know,
very
the typical,
hard.
because
Yeah,
we,
even I have issues. I was like, why not? I need to
Right,
buy this.
yes.
yeah, and she said, but I can see
And
that.
without putting the promotion, they're very expensive and.
But they said that's very expensive for Amadeus to change the website,
The
and that's the
website,
link.
yeah.
That's the
Yes.
Amadeus website, that it's not from Aeromar, that's a company.
We keep, and we'll keep, giving that information.
I
and
gave
that
up and then
feedback.
I went to the Viva Aerobus to book from Nuevo Laredo, because
No,
then
give us a call. We can help.
it was frustrating.
Yeah, no, I understand, and if ever you, like, give us a call,
Yeah.
and Reina's an expert on finding
Oh,
people.
that-
Oh,
Yeah.
Here's more examples, and as you can see, like, this is Reforma, and we have, this is a
This is
bit,
the most, that's it.
it's a Metrobus station, so this is one of the biggest avenues in Mexico City. We have radio, we also have radio, it's very difficult to see, but just to give you an idea of the results, we're tracking the results also that we have in radio. Yes. Yes, because you're in the traffic for hours, and so you listen to entire shows.
There's a lot of shows, there's actual shows that are hosted by celebrities and all of that.
Exactly, and
They're
they,
very popular.
We were actually, in November, we were in a few of those shows.
Yes.
We were interviewed in a few of those shows. Imagen is also radio. Radio Centro, also radio. This is another thing that we do. So we have radio, but we also have TV. And so you have your mention on TV, but you also have what they call roba pantalla. So the frame of the screen, you have your advertising, and then you have the mention from the host of the show.
Estas vacaciones, visita Laredo, Texas y diviértete sin gastar de más. Despeja del estrés cotidiano y disfruta con tu familia o amigos de increíbles parques del tipo americano con guitapistas, albercas, juegos, o bien prepara tu carnita asada en el Parque Estatal Lago Casablanca. Museos, cultura, conciertos, deportes y mucha diversión te esperan en Laredo. Además, no olvides consentirte en almacenes como Macy's, Dealers, Joe Brand o aprovechar excelentes promociones en tiendas como Ross, TJ Maxx o los inigualables Outlet Shops, un centro comercial al aire libre que te espera con verdaderas ofertas todos los días. Ya lo sabes, reserva tu hotel porque las habitaciones se están agotando. Descarga la app Visit Laredo TX y encuentra todo lo que la ciudad tiene para tu diversión, o bien síguenos en redes sociales como Visit Laredo TX. Esta Semana Santa, vacaciona en Estados Unidos a tu manera, porque aquí también se habla español, así es que ya lo sabes. Nos vemos en Laredo, Texas.
So this is an example, and as you saw, the whole time you have the roba pantalla, which is the advertising on the screen.
Visita Laredo, Texas y diviértete
This is the example from a show.
vacaciones con Aeromar, el vuelo redondo, desde $250 con impuestos y tour incluidos. Además, te incluye el primer cambio de fecha sin costo, 2 maletas de 23 kilogramos y acceso a salón Aeromar. Esta temporada, consiéntete en almacenes como Macy's, Dealers o en tan buscado Target, o aprovecha excelentes descuentos en tiendas como Ross, TJ Maxx o los inigualables Outlet Shops, un centro comercial al aire libre que te espera con verdaderas ofertas de hasta un 70% de descuento. También conoce y disfruta de museos, cultura, conciertos, deportes y muchas actividades al aire libre. Reserva tu vuelo con el código VISITLRT. Esta Semana Santa, vacaciona en Estados Unidos a tu manera, porque en Laredo también se habla español. La promoción está limitada a 100 boletos, así que reserva ya en aeromar.mx y nos vemos en Laredo, Texas. Arturo, ¿a qué va?
So if you saw the roba pantalla in Monterrey, it's different than the roba pantalla in Mexico City. It's a little
And I just don't think that a person making $22,000 a year.
Estas vacaciones, visita Laredo, Texas y diviértete.
In Mexico City, 22,000.
Is a lot of
It's a lot
money.
of money, yeah.
Yes, the thing,
But $250 is a lot of money.
the thing that happens,
You know.
If you balance.
what happens in Mexico is that people live on credit. And so credit cards give you a lot of options. 6 meses sin intereses, 18 meses sin intereses, 24 meses sin intereses. And then if you buy tickets, airplane tickets, if you buy hotels, if you shop in the US, they give you special meses sin intereses en sus compras en Estados Unidos. Like credit cards are very in tune to what happens with the market and the activity. Yes.
Miami,
Yeah.
how was your Semana Santa?
Because we have been busy studying, so we don't see a huge
Difference,
difference, yeah.
but
Has been steady. Usually, like when you have a holiday, we actually go down a little bit more because we are more for business travelers.
what about you? How did you do?
I have to side with Magali. It was kind of steady. It wasn't like this huge deal, you know.
Maybe for the hotels around 35, the
Yeah.
hotels close
Yeah,
to the
because you can
mall.
see in the
Maybe more
It has
walk-ins.
always been that way. When you have these weekends or holidays, or it's
not
the ones on the 35 corridor and the ones around the mall, those are the ones that see that huge impact.
Because you see people walking from the mall to the hotel.
From
Yes.
Embassy Suites.
With the
Embassy Suites and the
Yes.
other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will it counter more like walk-ins, people who don't have a reservation?
Yeah, I did my own
walk in,
survey.
they want in.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah, we
what
do see that.
I go in and drive and I see
the people like
the plates and
Yes.
things like that, yeah.
And
Ahorita está muy cara la gasolina para andar driving.
I did see a bump in the general occupancy of
Yes.
the city, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you
Because
have,
it's
and you
the-
have
the
those that
numbers.
maybe you don't see a huge difference, but you complement or you actually make up for those business travelers that are not coming down. And then you don't notice a huge difference, but it's because of leisure travelers, so,
Right.
yeah. Maybe we should do a better way at tracking that, maybe.
That's with the new report, we'll be able
Yes.
to
We'll be
track
able
it.
to do that.
Yes.
Let's do report there.
The next one.
Atención, mucha por este report.
And I'm really excited about it.
Okay.
Well, we're gonna have a lot of information.
Yes.
You
And-
know what you wish.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is some of the digital campaign that we did with different media outlets, in this case, Transportes y Turismo. This is what we got out of every post with them. Our digital campaign also, we saw with Expansión. Expansión is a very large media conglomerate in Mexico. We also did work.
And the outlet malls do their own advertising,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So,
They do their own thing. So what we do is complement.
sure.
And as you saw, as we reported in previous meetings, we had the press conference in both Mexico City and Monterrey.
Do you all advertise in Mexico?
No.
Do you? No, you see? So I bet you the chains on 35
That's where
do.
that's where social
Yes.
media, that's where social media comes in, where we're able to,
Sure.
capture people
You pick
that are
up-
from other countries into,
Yeah.
the hotel.
Yeah.
So we have newspapers like El País, also in electronic. This is our Facebook, our digital campaign in Mexico with Facebook and Instagram, the different
And
stories.
the way we see it is, at least in our hotels, the campaign on the UX,
Right.
it's a better fit for us.
Mhm.
We see more visitors from US.
From the US.
than Mexico, so it
Even
is,
though we're on the board.
It depends on, if you attract from the
Yes.
US or
Yeah.
you attract from Mexico,
Yes.
whatever.
And we can do,
But that's
we
what
just
you do.
did a presentation for management on both our campaigns, the one for Mexico and the one for the US. So if you want for the next meeting, we can bring that presentation here and show
That would be
you what
good.
we're doing in the
one
US.
thing
too.
that I wanted to, and probably right now that we're talking about marketing and all that, I've noticed how it's shifting a lot about how sustainable you are and how, so that's becoming a very huge trend for hotels.
How what?
And
Sustainable.
sustainable you
Oh.
are, like what are you doing to, use your natural resources, how are you saving water, saving electricity, so there's now, especially in the US market, that's a very huge trend. I think that we haven't explored that. Maybe we should look into that. I have some resources. If you guys want to meet and just talk about that, I think that it would be very, very interesting to start highlighting. I'm pretty sure there are other hotels that are doing something. Us personally, we have a huge campaign within our hotels
Yeah.
of how we recycle, how we reuse some things, and how we save water and this and that. So, and I'm pretty sure there are more hotels out there that are doing the same.
It's a big
Yeah.
deal right
So,
now.
yes,
the-
so
the
it's something that-
environment and
yes.
environmental issues are-
Yes, and I see that, some chains are putting a lot of emphasis on that and marketing that, and people are actually choosing hotels based on that. Because now you have a lot of people that care about the environment
And you
and
wanna
then,
help, the
yes,
environment.
so
Yeah,
maybe, I'm not saying to make it a big priority, but have it incorporated in our website, yeah.
And we can actually, we can talk to Brooke and
Yes.
see how we can like do a
Yeah.
story.
Implement that.
Story.
Exactly, do
Yes,
a story
yes.
and send it to the media.
Mhm.
And give mention to those hotels, because that is something that,
Yeah,
And what
That-
you do is that you challenge the other hotels
To-
that are not
exactly,
doing it.
yes.
So everybody can be up to par. Because
Yes.
this is, I mean, resources, water,
Yes.
I mean, it's, it's very
Yes.
limited. I mean, especially
yeah.
where it doesn't rain like here.
and even go as far as having a campaign or something that we can later on market and use to our advantage.
No,
And the city itself does a lot, because we do mulching
Yes.
with all the grass clippings and things and trees. We do a lot of mulching, and now we're gonna start a big campaign on compost.
Yes.
Compost has its own
campaign.
challenges.
And the
Yes.
restaurants, are the ones that will probably, do you know, this is something that I'm still trying to process. The poop that we collect in the south side
city? Oh.
is different than the one in the north
In this
side.
city?
Why is
In
it
this
that-
city.
that they-
No shit.
Yeah, because there's more
Eso sí,
salads and
eso
things
sí.
over here, and more greens.
Well,
Yeah, and
I just learned that.
in that same subject, you can incorporate products that is locally, produced here in Laredo, like all of those things that are organic,
farmers
and
market.
farmers market.
The farmers
If you can utilize all of that and put it together into Laredo is,
yeah. We'll certainly get in contact,
Yeah.
we'll get in contact with our
Yeah.
PR agency and
Yes.
see how we can
Yes.
put together a story,
yeah.
so we can send to the media.
That's perfect.
and on that note,
Thank you.
speaking of
Yes.
recycling,
I'm gonna
and other
recycle
things,
myself.
I was also gonna mention the fact that I think one of the key elements, and I know that this is what we look for when we go to other cities to visit, what does everyone say? Oh, it's so quaint, it's so beautiful, it's so clean. And I think that, that's something that we have to kind of emphasize to, I think, general business community, is to maintain their areas, maintain their spaces, their properties. Some time ago, I wrote a story because I was so disappointed in the mall. It was literally, the grass was growing out of the cement, and the trees, the palm trees were falling, they were just falling off the
Well, there was
ground.
a story about this.
Well, they cleaned it after I wrote the article. They actually went and cut the grass, trimmed the trees and everything. And I get it. It's also the shortage of staffing.
Yeah.
That goes back to that too.
Yeah.
Because we have that same problem. But then you start working and thinking outside the box. We started xeriscaping, like you were saying, because that's the reality. We can't be cutting the grass every day. So rather than that, let's gravel it or compost it or something. Do something with making it still pretty, but manageable. But I think I would like to see, or I would like to kind of participate, as I have nothing else to do, but in some sort of a program with the beautification, Laredo, I don't know if that still
Keep
exists.
Keep
Beautiful.
it beautiful, yes, they just got a new.
Yes.
To do something
signature.
where we feature, and probably that would be a motivator, and I would imagine some sort of partnership with the city, with a chamber also, to kind of focus on what businesses beautified their space, including their facades,
To
including
challenge
what
them
they
and then
did,
highlight.
and highlight them, because they made that extra effort and then focus their business. I would like to elevate that to some extent, and I think from our point of view, the bank would participate somehow with some sort of a special, event for them that day, or for that month. That business would be featured, and we'd invite people over.
We used to have
I
that.
was
We
gonna
used to
say,
have
Yeah.
that. Because I had it.
Yeah.
In fact, I gave,
It would go to the
yeah, the
business.
ones on McPherson, it used to be, now it's Yes. Remember that, all the rose bushes they had there in front? And I gave them a Keep Laredo Beautiful plaque or something, I don't remember what it was, but
We can bring this up with Keep Laredo Beautiful and the chamber, and we can
Yes,
together.
seriously, yeah, but
I think that the downtown
I know
area,
that
those
she
stores
comes
that are
from
just boarded up,
environmental, but I don't know
that's
her
a
name.
terrible,
To be honest.
thing to see. The downtown area.
that's the part that I worry about the most, because to me,
Yes.
it's very sad that it's gone down so. I mean, just right now, I parked over here and walking down, and it was like, that's so
Did you
sad.
have a program when you were a mayor that,
Incentives or no? The incentive?
the incentive to the property owners, to improve their front.
Their storefront.
And
We still have that.
That's still available.
The storefront.
The storefront.
Yeah, I
The
think,
funding for that?
it's still
But
there.
nobody's using it?
No.
Well, the thing is, you have to employ someone, there's caveats to that too, there's
I think
requirements.
I think some had been using those monies to balance off the rental agreements to bring in the tenants for the buildings instead of using those monies for modifications
What
on
we
the
have is
building
a lot
instead.
of absentee
Owners.
Owners.
Yeah.
That's what hurts us the
Yeah,
most.
that's,
Just on
I
that,
hear you.
I'm sorry.
I know, because that happens a lot with the condominiums, that people buy condominiums and they rent them out. And it's very, very difficult, to keep people, to maintain their property when they're renting.
Yes.
And that's a big challenge, I know, because somebody does that complex and she's, always,
The trash along the loop, who's in charge of that? Don't see that.
Text
They
us.
have to.
Yeah.
Text dot.
Right?
A lot of it.
They have to
Having
do,
trouble hiring people.
they have to do a better job on that.
And you don't have to go far, you go kill them to I-35, these crazy truckers, they're not from here, so they could, pardon the expression, give a shit. So that's what they do, they throw their
Yeah.
pee and shit on the side of the road, and for us, out of sight is out of mind.
The truckers do that?
That truck, oh, hell yes! Oh, yes!
Well, there should be cameras.
Amen.
should be fine.
Amen.
Yes, I mean, cameras and you find them and
that'll
it'll
stop.
store them.
Do you know that, speaking of which, we have to get their DNA though. Because that's what they do at a condo complex in San Antonio. You register your dog, they take your dog's DNA, because if you take your dog out and you don't pick up their stuff, they
They get
grab
fined.
it, and then you get a $2,000 fine,
what we're
and then they
getting.
find your dog's poop. And I want them moved into a condo that had that
Gabriel,
requirement.
another,
I love
Gabriel.
it.
I know.
Gabriel, another
Get
note.
the pocketbook.
Come back to me.
That's the way.
That's how they follow it up, and they find out who's.
Jeez.
Coming back to our regular program.
We're gonna start fighting that.
You don't bring your dog to my house, right? No.
All right.
You see her let me know, because my husband lets her rubber band, so let me know.
Oh my God.
I'm like,
Okay.
so, going back a little bit to the item of remarketing. We did some remarketing, which means people that were interested in the slide, we were in a good way bombarding them with our ads, just to make sure they didn't forget about it. So with Itemar, we're like, if you were interested, you would see our Laredo promotions, the ones that we had through. And again, this is what we did for Semana Santa.
Good job.
You did a lot.
Very nice.
It was a lot. The team, and I mean, kudos to Selena, to Reina, to Aaron,
Casa Laredo.
Casa Laredo, Selena and Samuel, because they did a great job in just putting together
And I
this.
think you're planting seeds too for next year.
Yes, and for Black Friday.
Yes,
For every
Christmas,
weekend. For
yes,
yeah.
yes.
So, this is something, again, this meeting took a little bit longer just because it was the first one with the new report. Next time, we're going directly to the highlights
Okay.
of the month.
Well, we have to reserve 3 hours for
I promise next time I will be better. And just in page 22, it's a 3 months up, well, no, we have the digital marketing.
Marketing efforts.
Yes, as you see in page 20, it's our analytics for the website. Page 21 is our new social media report. So hopefully this one is a little bit more telling of what we're doing and how the impact, not just followers, but the engagements, which is the important part, and the impressions. So it's a little bit different. And then on page 22, we have some of the activities that are coming in the next 3 months. This week we are hosting the National Narcotic Detector Dog Association for the second time.
I was gonna ask, I've seen that, come up quite frequently.
Yes, they're finally here.
Yes,
Yes, they bring their
They're
dogs.
all the dogs.
Joel, Selena,
Where do they keep the dogs?
at the hotel.
At the
Hotel?
hotel?
Yeah.
At the hotel?
They bring their kennels, their signs that say, "Do not open this door because there's a police dog inside."
Yeah.
And that's what
There's also a little fenced area in
the
front
park,
of them,
in
in
San
front of the
Agustin
hotel,
Plaza.
San Agustin Plaza, so the doggies can run around for a bit.
How cute.
It's more like the doggy bathroom.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That they pick up after themselves.
And we put, solid waste helped us with bins, and so we created a little doggy restroom.
Wow,
In the park.
nice.
And so this is the second time we host them, so we're really excited that as soon as a rotation,
We're looking again to host them.
That is
Yeah.
so.
Once
How
a
many
fall.
people is that?
We have, they have, I think, over 120.
120.
and it's a national convention, so
And
they
this is
come
like
from.
how many times they come in here
They
before?
come from
It's the
all
second
over the
time.
It's the
United
second time.
Yeah.
This is so cool.
120
So this is a US government initiative.
This is more of a law enforcement.
Canine handlers.
You have canine handlers from different law enforcement
Yeah.
organizations.
School districts from.
It could be
It's an association.
Yeah, an
It
association.
could be police or sheriffs
Yeah,
or,
constables.
constables.
So the one that gathers them, it's an association. It's a National Detector Dog Association. And so, just as any other association, if you're a canine handler, you want to participate in that association because they get education, they get education hours for training, so they get different certifications through the association. And so what they do is during the week, the handlers go to classes, and then also.
And the dogs go shopping or what?
No.
They're also classes.
We don't make them that.
So they have classes for the handlers and then classes for the handlers and the canines. And then on Fridays, there's a competition.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
So how long is this conference?
a week.
From Sunday to
Wow.
Friday.
Wow.
Yeah. So some people get here since Friday, the board gets here Friday or
The
Saturday.
previous
Are
Friday,
they staying at La Posada?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. And is there any entertainment in between that? I mean, anything to hold, are you all doing
Oh,
something?
yeah.
We did.
So, yeah,
Yeah, we did a welcome
They have
reception
the social reception.
That's
at
why
the
they
Center for
come
the
back.
Arts. So, yeah, it was really nice. They really enjoyed it.
There's no hospitality like Laredo.
Yeah.
Oh, they
This-
listen.
this
We did the galloneada for them again, like
The
the escort
mariachis.
with the mariachi from La Posada to the Center for the Arts. La Posada had their Mexican themed buffet posts in the patio area inside. They also got to see
Why
the.
didn't you all call us? Board members should be at those things.
Next time we'll call you guys.
Es puro perro.
No, yo me quedé a tu fe. Host, of course.
Yeah, we had live entertainment.
We had live music. They saw the current exhibit right now from Ethel Shipton that's still up. But nobody was brave enough to get on the swings.
No.
They were scared of the weight limit that's there.
Yeah.
They're like, oh no. they have a swing area and a seesaw that's interactive, but there is a weight limit that's stated, but nobody was brave enough to sit down on the swings. And eventually the director told us, she's like, it's actually, doubled what we posted. And I'm like, that's fine. I was like, I didn't need anybody to get on it swing.
so that's happening this week. Next week,
12 minutes.
Reina, Selena and I are traveling. We're going to the same convention center, different conventions. Reina is gonna be, receive her award for,
Cool.
she's being recognized as an emerging star in digital tourism marketing.
Are you making a panel, the question with 10 persons?
Yes.
Another 10 stars.
Yes,
That's
so
another
there's 9 stars being recognized this year out of 140 submissions. It's gonna be in Florida.
Oh, Florida, wow.
Yes, so Reina and Selena are gonna go to E-Tourism Summit, and I'm going to IPW, which is one of the largest media and travel operator events in the nation, which is gonna happen here not here in Texas next year, in San Antonio, so we're all gearing towards that. We're gonna have a big booth next year in San Antonio, but this is the first time we participate, so I'm going scoping, see,
You're gonna go scope it out.
excuse me, what we need to do to be ready for next year.
Wow.
And
That's right.
after that, Travel and Tourism College, there's different, and of course, as I mentioned, Pony. We have some influencers coming during the summer. So these are some of the activities that are coming in the next 3 months.
Speaking of activities, I did get some of the information from y'all from the sister cities,
Uh-huh.
and I sent it out to our markets that are in the surrounding areas like Eagle Pass, Puerto Vaca, McAllen,
Perfect.
Rio
Thank
Grande. But what are you all doing to promote that on the US side? I think it's important to promote something like that on the US side.
Oh, we only promote it on the US side.
Yeah.
So, Sal, do you want to talk about?
So for sister cities, like you said, that is more, it's US. So it's basically a statewide promotion that we do. And we do a hard 2-week push, up to the event, but publications have already picked it up since last month. So we've got targeting more of the I-35 corridor going up to Dallas, where we use our digital billboards. Then we do electronic placements and traditional placements in Austin, San Antonio, the Valley. There is a publication called Wilson County News that picks up, statewide inserts. And that's actually where we've gotten a lot of traction as well. And then we also do social media. We do e-blasts to the people that we've got on our email bases. And
San Antonio Express, we're
San
adding
Antonio
Corpus this year.
Express, Corpus,
The Valley.
Oh, good.
the Valley. I'm trying to blank, and that's all I've been doing lately. But that is pretty much covered, within the state of Texas.
Okay, that sounds great. What I did was that I put together, because we have customers who have restaurants and hotels by the arena. So what I did was that I put kind of like a little deal together where I put the ad for your sister cities, and I put the hotels and the restaurants that are in the area. So like that, if people wanted to make it a weekend, and that's what I said, make it a weekend. Make it a weekend getaway, and then blah, 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 I can start first that, and then stay here, go here, blah, blah, whatever's in that area. And part of that, she's not a customer, but I wish she was. Kendra Scott is opening up a store.
Yes.
So I know that's coming up. We're working, I think
I think they already had a soft launch, didn't they?
Monday?
They just had a soft launch?
They probably did, but that's not that, she said that that's their temporary space.
Oh, okay.
Where are they?
They're gonna, at Northtown, right by the Target.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So we're working with MD Anderson because we're doing a campaign, and La Posada, they're very nice about putting an ad. We have a poster there that we're, visitors are invited to donate. We have donation envelopes for that. But part of that is that Kendra Scott also supports MD Anderson. So that's why I was asking about their whenever they're having their big grand opening, because we wanted to do something with them for MD Anderson, because she always gives a percentage. Whenever they have an event, they give a percentage that day to MD Anderson. And then IBC is matching everything that.
Wow, that's great.
That's wonderful.
So, but I guess in this instance, 2 things. I was gonna ask, and you don't have to answer right now, but you can find out. Because we also want one of our booths, or within our booth, to put an MD Anderson section, where it's just gonna be information, awareness about cancer, that type of thing.
If it's within your booth,
Okay.
we don't have any problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll charge you a little bit more.
Nah, just
They're already clapping.
It's been working so good.
Cancer affects everybody.
Yeah.
Every family.
It's so unfortunate, but let me tell you what's happened along the way is that really and truly, it's opened the door for Laredoans and really just about anyone that goes with the IBC, referral. And it gets it because it is hard to get in. Unfortunately, you need the referral of a doctor, and that takes a while. And the red tape, and when you're diagnosed, you need to go in now.
State 4.
It's immediate. So they helped a lot of Laredoans, especially the last couple of years. So we want to keep that going, and we want to do that. And then the last 2 times that we raised money for them, we raised $4 million. And they were able to put that into an immunotherapy research. That immunotherapy research received a Nobel Peace Prize from the doctor, because it's actually working. It's a new treatment that actually works within the body's own system without getting into chemotherapy. It's using your own immune system. It's wonderful, but it's very helpful. So of course, we like the fact that it's working. You know, once again, the results, return on
You
investment.
see
I know that
direct
my nephew
correlation.
went through one of those trials because he had colon cancer stage 3. When he was diagnosed, he was 31 years old. And they didn't, you know, here the doctor said, you know, you're very young, it's best for you to go to MD Anderson. He went to MD Anderson, he got, you know, he got the chemotherapy and everything, and then he went in, you know, he was in remission, and then a year later, again. And so they put him into one of these programs, and let me tell you, it worked. He went every single month for 2.5 years. Every month, and it worked. And now he's cancer free.
Is he here in the rear?
Yes, he's the manager of the Service First Mortgage Company, the office manager, and they're doing extremely well. His name is Carlos Garza.
Because I need a testimonial. We're having an event next week, Give Cancer the Booth Party, and it's a fundraiser. We're part of our thing.
I'll ask, because
I would
he
love for him to
is
speak
so,
about that, because last time we had someone also speak about their experience, and it was very important that, you know, especially their survivors.
he is a survivor, you know, stage 3, and then again, you know, and it was very iffy there for a while.
I'm sure.
And the doctor says, look, if it works, and we know that it has a good chance to work, that you will be helping so many other people. This is a fact. So,
Exactly.
so he says, I will, you know, and he said, talk it over with his wife.
That's wonderful.
Wow, that's awesome.
You know, Alisa Oliveros, the board member from UISD, her husband died yesterday.
And he did. Oh, they did.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he had been very sick.
Well, along those lines, next Wednesday also, we're going to have MD Anderson night at the Teco Lopez Cave. So they're also going to be donating funds from that evening's proceeds from that evening. And then we're going to be there kind of collecting money from spectators or whatever it is.
Well, they kept my sister alive for a long time. So they're a good hospital.
It's a tough
Yeah.
battle.
Tell me about it. We lost our brother to cancer, you know, and he was diagnosed with stage 4, and it's, you know, the doctor said, you know, it's treatable but not curable. And he told him that in the beginning, and he says, you know, how long?
That's what
8
happened to
months,
my
he says, 8
sister.
months, 9 months, but he actually, you know, lived 15 months, you know,
Wow.
and then he far exceeded, you know, what he was supposed to do. And then his son is the one that had colon cancer, diagnosed with colon at the same time. So sometimes they were having, you know,
At the same time.
together.
Wow.
Anyway, it's hard, this is hard, but I'll talk to my nephew, I mean,
Please.
he's a good speaker, let me tell you.
Oh, that would be wonderful, because I really didn't have somebody, and I just realized it's next week already, so.
It's
we'll put it
colon
together.
cancer.
And we sold out on the tables, but I would love to have him as a guest with whoever he wants to bring. That would be
Look at
great.
his wife, I'm sure.
Oh, that would be nice.
So,
And we have a
somebody's
giant,
more affected than the.
Than the actual.
and we have a giant banner that we put up, and last time we did the same thing, and everyone who's a cancer survivor signs it,
Signs it.
and then we put it up. And
Yeah.
the city allows us to put it up for, you know, like a couple of days, and so it's just awareness of
Yeah,
for that.
that's awesome.
But thanks.
Along those same lines, there's 3 very significant nonprofits that are having big fundraisers now in August. One is the food bank with Los Lobos over at the arena, August the 12th. August the 18th is Live Dance, $100 ticket, you get a lot of prizes. And of course, the Boys and Girls Club with a $200 ticket, but $25,000 is the grand prize. So, I mean, money's easy to split. De vaquitas.
Yeah.
So, and it's,
I'm always hanging
you know.
from questionable board members too.
We all.
Too many of them.
I know, I guess I'm from Alberto, over there. Runs the fundraiser.
Okay, so that completes all the activity reports.
Yes.
And our next meeting is scheduled for July 7th, 2022. And I know we did bring some announcements to our meeting. Do we need to say any other announcements we'd like to bring to our meeting today? Any other
I'd like to commend your staff and everyone here because I think they're doing a great job. And I like their thoroughness on their reports. And I'm looking forward to that next report that Mr. Terrell talking about, because I think that's going to be even more information to elevate your work and basically your data. So I think all of that is very important to keep that progression going. So thank you all for all that you do.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
And before you came, Gabriela, we were talking about to go back and report to your council person
Mhm.
that named you. You know, your feelings about the staff and the programs and everything.
I think that before they go
Yeah.
to, before city council, that we inform our own council
Yes.
members,
Yeah,
you know, what's been going on,
think
and how
it
we
makes-
feel, and how, you know, you know, how all of
It
this.
makes a difference.
The monthly meetings, because they are monthly meetings that we
Yeah,
come here and we get a lot of.
they should know.
On that note, there is an item on the agenda for this upcoming week, this next week. There's a proposal, we don't know how it's gonna go, but I just wanted to, now that you've brought that up, a proposal from Dr. Marta Martinez to create like a sports authority, which is a sports, like a department that will promote everything that has to do with sports in the community. We are familiar with that type of organization because a lot of CVBs, a lot of communities have that, where there's a specific, like a specific CVB just for sports, specific organization. So that is what Councilmember Dr. Martinez is proposing. I haven't talked to management on the details of if that is something, how would that work? It would take
Should be a
time,
part of
but
this.
It should be, and if there's gonna be, you know,
CBB?
one department to be created, I mean, there's a lot of other organizations, you know, that are.
How do they do it in other cities? I mean, that would be a place to
They
start.
have, yes, so they're using, I think, Round Rock as an example. And so the way that they work is they have a specific sports department, and that department works together with CVB and with Parks. So it's like a department in between the two, and they manage sports venues. They promote, but they also manage some of the sport venues. So they do a lot more than just promoting. We would still have our salespeople, we would still have our sports salespeople that would work in coordination with that group. We still have to work on the details. This is just, I read it yesterday.
So there's no budget discussed yet, no.
Not yet. This is the first conversation I saw in
I
the
would
agenda.
like to see maybe an umbrella or department, you know, to take care of different aspects of what, you know, you all do here, because if you're gonna concentrate just on sports, I mean, that's fine.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of other activities, you know, that need to be.
We would still,
But
yeah.
managing is different, managing.
So,
And management is
Exactly.
different, and I agree, you know, it's just like, the fairgrounds. I mean, it's gonna be a multi-million.
Well, and
They would do it.
because it's so close to what you do, I think you can't work in silos. It should be complementing whatever you all are doing too.
And it would be, for what I understand, again, I don't have, this is just a very, very,
Don't they have a park and recreation department?
yes, so this,
So more layers of bureaucracy. That's
it's a sports authority, and again, what they do in other destinations is they promote, but they also manage. And so as soon as I have more information, I'll come back to you and.
That's
And I know
very
management
interesting.
needs to tell Martha that.
Yeah, and I don't know where they come from. I need to talk to management. I just wanted to give you a heads up of what's coming in the agenda. The other item is also, they're proposing that that we create a subdivision within CVB for arts and culture.
You see, that's what I'm talking about, there's gotta be one director, one umbrella, one department, if you will, you know, with different organizations being represented, because, I mean, you know that you're gonna hear from other organizations that, well, what just is sports, you know, we feel that, you know, we're important also. Arts and culture is very, very important.
Very important.
Oh, don't we have a Heritage Foundation?
Yes, we do.
Yes. So, as soon as I have more information, in the next meeting, I'll
Yes.
come back to you and report on that. I just wanted to give you a heads up on what's gonna be on the agenda, which is gonna be under Joel, because I'm gonna be out.
What is the status of the conference center or? is there
The
any-
RFP closed. We only had one, respondent, and the response was very, it doesn't have a lot of information. So we need to go back to management and see what the next step is.
What?
What the next-
What?
There was an RFP, so council directed the staff to go out and put out an RFP without a location, because,
The problem was the location.
the location, there was a lot of, disagreement, controversy on where the location was. So we were directed to put out an RFP for, some sort of partnership. And so the feedback that we got was that they were looking for, they were asking, we had a specific location. At the end, we had only one response, and, we need to go back to management and present the results of the RFP.
That's amazing. That was only one
So was that
response.
like from a management company of some sort, or who?
It's an architecture firm. They have other projects, what I saw in the RFP, they have other projects around, but it's more about design. So we need to go back to management and report those results, and then go back and see what's the next
And I
step.
guess the Fasken offer is no longer on the table, right?
I think in
The
a
old conference
roundabout
center.
way,
I mean, you don't have to answer. But I mean, you know, to me, there was still a feasible, I think, like every place, I think, like San Antonio, I mean, we're big enough that we could handle 2 locations. I understand North Laredo has a lot of convenience, TAMU, the university over there, you know, the highway, the loop. So I see where that would be a possibility, but I also see where, you know, someone was making an offer here. I just thought, you know, downtown would have also been a good.
And the architecture firm that bid did not specify a location. So they did not specify where they wanted to.
Well, and I understood, at one point I was on a committee to make a downtown conference region, area. They were kind of-
Yes, I think that is something that is being proposed as part of the plaza redesign. To do like a conference district.
I think that to add to the location problem, it was the funding and the location, the combination.
Yeah.
So if there's, you know, investors that are willing to put in the money and not
And-
having to go through the same type of funding, maybe, why not?
Yeah, so we'll go back, we're going back engineering and see, we're going back to management and presenting the results of the RFP. And we'll let you know what the next step.
Did you all know that Starbucks was in Nuevo Laredo?
Yeah.
I did not know. And they say there's lines. Lines.
Is it a new Starbucks?
In Paseo Corona and Reforma.
They closed in Russia, so they came and opened here.
No, it's been open for like about 3 years.
Yes.
Mhm.
I had no idea.
Well,
They have a lot of, they have a lot of chains.
The one that they're gonna open here on Saunders,
Body.
I mean, that's going to be,
Oh, yeah.
I
That's
mean,
gonna be good.
it's already, I mean, it's prime.
So expensive. How do people afford that?
Because
Remember when you
it's a
you
good
know,
business.
buy a cup of coffee for
They're driving women to abortion centers.
Sorry, we're getting-
I,
Calm down. We're still adjourned.
Do we have a motion to,
I move
first
it.
of all, thank you all for coming to our meeting, and thank you LCBB for all of your hard work.
Thank
Do we
you.
have a motion
I move that we
I
adjourn
second.
this wonderful meeting.
Yes, me too.